Hello. How are you? How are you? Hello, hello. Um, are you well? How are you? What are you reading? Today's reading is of a brand new book I got a few hours ago. And I'm too excited, so I had to share. Sorry, I just wanted to send myself the title on here. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The title has been pinned. This is a brand new book. I got it today. I ordered I got mine. No, actually, I'm lying. I got it yesterday. Today, I took delivery of other ones, someone else's copies. But this is a new book. This is the cover. Isn't the cover nice? I love it. Okay, let me just. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I love this woman. This is a memoir. It's stories of women who were widowed early in their marriages and or in their partnerships, and untimely beginnings, memoirs of women who defied fate. So I'm going to read the back of the book. This is Maverick Rains says the cover looks powerful. Yeah, that's because all the stories that are in here are of loss, but of a power. I asked earlier on Yolanda what is she reading, and she says she's reading Stay With Me by Oyobami Adebayo. I loved it. I loved it. Untimely beginnings. Because of the fact that they've lost their husbands and now it's like beginnings that are it's powerful. Yeah. Jane says, what a title. Yep. So I'm going to read the back of the book. This is printed by Red Soil Publishers. My friend Lorraine Sitole follow her at Sitole_Lorraine. This is her publishing. This is the first time. This is the first book under Red Soil. Yeah. So this is by Nandi Manentsa. So there's 17 women. It was initially supposed to be 25. 17 women's stories of loss, and it's beautiful. Like, yeah, maybe it's just because it's my friend, but yes, let me read the back and then we will start. An extremely powerful collection of moving verbatim accounts of heartbreak by several unique personalities. The book details how the widowed women, through injustices large and small, came to realize their true potential. The odds were more often than not against them, and yet their resilience kept them going. People saw them only as a reflection of their loss, and their individuality as subtext of their existence. Narrating their different stories is evidence of their maturity and their willingness to open up themselves for the enrichment of others, especially those who are called widows. The experiences are diverse and many women can relate to them. I certainly found myself. This is actually by Advocate Boniswa Mzimba. But yeah, this is compiled by Nandi Manentsa, who also lost her husband. So yeah, it goes on to say Nandi, through this book, has exposed the devastation that is faced by so many women who lose their husbands. This book will incite discourse and a cultural shift, both in mind and in practice. It creates a platform for the voiceless and is a healing read for all of us. So there was initially supposed to be 25 stories. And there's two forewords, one by Shirley Zinn and one by Karabo Khuleng. I don't know if you guys know Karabo Khuleng, but yeah, she is also in the literary space, and she reviews books, and she is a sorry, I just want to switch off my volume. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm gonna read the editor's story for about 20 minutes, and then I'll be done. I don't wanna because this is sad, but I felt that I needed to shine a light on this brand new book, so that you can decide if it's something for you, or you can buy it for someone who has experienced loss. So here goes. Hello everybody. Hi. Okay, so Nandi Manentsa, the person who compiled this, her story is called True Happiness, and she did dedicate this to her late husband. My husband Mbulelo died aged 29, just 5 months away from his next birthday. We met at the University of Fort Hare in 1982. Sorry, I just remembered I didn't put on. Please confirm if you can hear clearly. Okay. We met at the University of Fort Hare in 1982. I remember on the first day of the Freshers Orientation Week, we were walking out of the science lecture block towards women residences for our lunch break. He walked alongside me and asked what my name was. Isn't that how varsity love or high school love starts anyway? Like, it's so sweet. I told him, and he asked where I was from. I told him that I was from Mdantsane, even though my family had relocated to Port Elizabeth 3 months before. I just remember getting embarrassed, as he was the only guy walking with a throng of girls on my account towards women's residences. I dismissed his overtures and told him that I was going to get married to my steady boyfriend back home. He chuckled at my response. Our relationship only started the following year. He later told me that he thought that I was naive. Lobola discussion started in 1989, and we got married on the 1st of December 1990. He was dark, handsome, with a beautiful set of teeth and a physique to die for. He had a mischievous grin when he was up to no good. I was happy to be lost to such a wonderful man. So many unusual events occurred in the last 2 weeks of his life. During that last week, he kept singing in the shower the gospel chorus Lihle Izulu every morning. I found this choice rather strange because he was not into gospel music. He used to sing Frank Sinatra's My Way, It's Finally Friday, imitating Radio 702 morning talk show hosts every Friday, or some rhythm and blues song. One night, I dreamt that there was a naked woman standing with her side profile towards me in one of the bedrooms at his home. In the dream, she turned her face to look at me and did not say anything. We knew her. In the morning, we sensed that the dream was a bad omen and were both puzzled by what it could mean. The dream bothered him so much so that he had inquired about it a week later, and he explained it to me. I still did not understand its interpretation. He desperately wanted us to do something about it, but we both did not know what was to be done. A week later, as I scrabbled a blot off the carpet and I had my black wrap dress on, Mbulelo chided me for wearing it. It was the manner in which he did it in that I found bizarre. It was like he had seen something spooky. He asked me to change it and not to ever wear it again. This was odd, as I had worn it before, and he did not have an issue with it. I nevertheless changed it. Out of the blue, he said, "You know, honey, some of my friends are yours by association." And also that we needed to visit my friend in Dawn Park, Boksburg. He also just blurted, "Your ex-boyfriend was going to marry you." I did not understand where all this was coming from, what he was saying, and his reactions were very peculiar. That week, I noticed that there was a stranger in the neighborhood. There was a man who appeared absent-minded. His face was painted with a calamine-like substance. He used to hook a sack on a stick and carry it on his shoulder. I saw him every day after work that week, near the townhouse. I'm usually brave, but for some reason, I was nervous about him, and I would get in the house and look at what he was up to through the window. I never spoke to Mbulelo about this. On Friday, 27 March 1992, he visited his friends and came back very late at night. It must have been just after midnight. I was fast asleep. He said, "Honey, there is something I want to tell you." With my eyes still closed, I suggested that he told me the thing in the morning before I left for Saturday classes. There was urgency in his voice, and he responded, "Honey, please remind me tomorrow." What was strange is that not once did I open my eyes to look at him as he was talking. Ordinarily, I would. I would have wanted to know what was distressing him so much, why it was so urgent. It was like he had experienced a strange occurrence. He conceded and urged me to please remind him in the morning. I promised to do so. Saturday, 28 March 1992 was a beautiful autumn day. I woke up to get ready to attend classes at Crown Mines. I took a shower and dressed up. I thought whether I should remind him to tell me what he wanted to tell me the night before, but when I looked at him, sleeping so peacefully, I could not bring myself to spoil his sleep. As I walked down the stairs, I realized that I had not kissed him goodbye, like we do each time we parted ways, and turned back. I looked at him. He was so serene. My intention was to make up for it after classes. In any case, he had come back home late the previous night, and I did not want to interrupt him. It was rather unusual that he also did not wake up while I showered, opened and closed cabinets, and dressed up. What was even more unusual was that he was an early riser, no matter the time he had gone to bed. The staircase was carpeted, so my footsteps were softer. I retraced my steps downstairs, locked the house, and left. Little did I know this was the last time I was to see him alive, asleep, peacefully. My Lift Club picked me up from the gate, and I attended lectures. I returned home at about 2, and as we passed the Rainswerd cemetery, one of the passengers commented about death and widows. That comment just stayed with me. It was quiet when I got home. My husband was not back yet. Later that night, he called from his parents' landline. There were no mobile phones back then. He spoke with a slur, sounded under the influence. I could not make out what he was saying. I felt he was being irresponsible, and I was annoyed by this. I asked him how he was going to get home in that state. Being irritated with his negligent behavior, I ended our conversation abruptly. I went to bed. Late at night, I woke up and realized that he had not come back home. I thought I should call his home and check if he was there. I then changed my mind, thinking I should not be a bother to Mama and Tata. Incidentally, the phone extension was at their bedside. I fell asleep again. I had a dream that night. I was heard I heard a long screeching sound, as if metal was being dragged on the tarmac, the friction with road surface resulting in an unpleasant sound to my ears. In the same dream, I was standing at the center of a field by myself, surrounded by a multitude of people. Sorry. I was wearing a mauve purple dress, similar in make to my wedding gown, and an organza veil in the same color, covering my head, face, and holding a single white rose. At dawn on Sunday 29th, 1992, at about 6, his siblings, Nonyameko and Mandla, came to fetch me. They told me that Mbulelo was involved in a car accident and that they were tracing him, as they did not know in which hospital he would have been admitted to. Mama and Dada had instructed them to fetch me, and we waited together. Mandla took the Davidton Road, thus driving past the newly opened shell garage, which was adjacent to an obscure entrance exit of the East Rand mine. He pointed out where the accident could have happened. There were broken glasses and a few pieces of metal. When the day broke, Mandla had the arduous task of calling different places from the landline at the lounge, inquiring about Mbulelo's whereabouts. There was an air of uncertainty in the house. It was tense. There were no conversations. There was nothing to do except wait. Death had not entered my mind at all. I was so sure that he would be traced to some emergency ward within the East Rand area. A couple of hours later, I heard Mandla say, "Umbulelo uswelekile, yazi." I just screamed. I think that we all did. His family closer to our home arrived. I do not recall what I had done the rest of the day. My sister, who comes after me, Zola, arrived that evening, and the next day, my mother and Mamumkulu arrived too. As it is customary in most of our communities, people near and far visit the bereaved to share in their grief and comfort them until the burial. I was flanked by my mother, Mamumkulu, and my mother-in-law. I was between tiredness, tearfulness, and bravery. I honestly cannot say what I went through during that period. People sang, prayed, and preached. I do not remember anything that was said to me. During that same week, we went to the morgue to view my husband at the Far East funerals in Actonville, Benoni. I had never been to a morgue before, and that was one of the worst days of my life. I was suddenly gripped by anxiety and fear. I did not know how this viewing was going to be like. I then asked the mothers who were staying with me throughout that time that we recite Psalm 23 in mother tongue, so that I could garner some strength and courage. As a young girl growing up in Mdantsane, a rough township, danger was always lurking around one. Whenever I walked alone, either crossing a field with dense trees or using some dodgy shortcut, I would recite this verse: "Even though I walk in the valley of death, I will fear nothing, for you are with me. Your rod comforts me." In my home language, and I leaned in God. Mbulelo lay on a morgue metal table with his body zipped in a white shroud. He seemed bigger and elongated. I noticed that he was stitched from the neck down. I'm going to stop there because I'm sad now. But yeah, it is a very sad book. But the one thing that when I read this particular story was that family and women, the woman Menandi is surrounded by are so like they firm and they're very supportive, and like that's just how women are. Like, we are so supportive of one another, and as much as it was a painful time, and as young as he was and as young as she was as well, she had such a strong support system. But yeah, this is a very beautiful book of healing, of just surrendering to everything that's happening immediately after you find out that your husband is no more, you know. But yes, we've been reading a few good books, happy books, and yeah. Okay, Tabiso says, I watched Kaise's video this morning and the story sounds so similar. Yeah, she was Kaise's lost her husband late last year, I think, and she's also a young widow. I mean, and she was her son was a few months old. So I love the title. I love that they chose to go with Untimely Beginnings. I think I will read it in bits and pieces as well because it's just sad. But I'm so proud of Lorraine for publishing this book, and yeah, I hope there will be many reprints of this book. It's very, very important. Reading it also reminded me of Letshego Zulu's I Choose to Live, because a lot of the stories in here are also about what do I do now? Okay, now I have to live and live for my children. Some of them didn't have children and they chose to live, continue, put one foot in front of the other, you know? So, yeah. True happiness. There's no script for grief. Go through it. That is what you have to do. You have to go through it. Bantu says, Bantu Book Club, hello. Yeah, Miss Weiner says I'll definitely add it to my to be read list. Yes. And I think it's your July read. Between the covers, or Bafati Bepumbene Book Club is reading this for July. So yes, I'll be reading it in bits and pieces because even Letshego Zulu's I Choose to Live, I read it months after I had bought it because I just couldn't. It was just sad, you know. And I actually love memoirs. And just after I had read Letshego Zulu's I Choose to Live, I read Landa Mabenge's Becoming Him. Yeah, and it was like a month of sadness basically because I read them in March and yeah. Yes, Zintatu says, oh my gosh, Umpi, I immediately thought of Letshego Zulu. Yeah. Yeah, Bantu says, I choose to live. It applies to so many situations, yes. And I think in Garaba Kholeng's forward, she does say this book, she would recommend it for anyone that has really experienced loss, not just a wife or a partner losing their husband or partner. Anyone that has experienced loss will definitely find this book to be like it's really like a healing sidila, you know. Yeah. Simule says I'm also getting this one. Yes, and I have covered local booksellers on the website, and I did a series late last year of local booksellers that sell online or mobile. I know Xoli Langa of Zanazi Media already has these in stock, and they're selling for $240. So you can get that from her, or you can get them from Gecko Media. So Gecko Publishing. Sorry, Gecko Publishing is on Instagram as well, but the book is available online. Yeah. Let me see if there are any comments that I missed. Tabiso said the saddest part is she didn't get to hear what he wanted to say. Exactly. Like, sure. And there were signs, you know, those little nudges. sorry, those little nudges, or but because you think that you've got time, you don't actually think that far, or you don't have that foresight, because that's how life is. um we don't know when are we going to lose our partners. We don't know when are we going to lose our parents, you know so yeah. This is very painful. Why am I nervous about this? Yeah. I also, when I first read it for before as a manuscript, I was like, yo, this, yeah. Oh, Zintatu says, I've missed the twins in the background. They've been quiet lately. Yeah, guys, I'm so sorry. The twins are always making their own little, they twinning. They just being 2-year olds. Yeah, the title is Untimely Beginnings, guys. That was today's reading. I hope you enjoyed it. And for those who came in later, you can check this reading out on IGTV and all the other live book readings I've been doing. I have saved them on IGTV, and I've also uploaded them on YouTube. Bookamoso Book Club is on YouTube. I will soon be recording, like, besides doing the live, and I'll be loading the readings for you up there. So please go and subscribe and like and yeah, and watch all the other readings of videos that you actually of books that you might not have bought. I read a beautiful line yesterday from Silence is My Mother Tongue. A woman mourns, but a woman moves on too. That was a comment by Miss Weiner. Yeah, yeah. We must move on too, as well, as painful as it is to lose someone. Even losing a friendship, losing, like, you have to move on at some point, but you do have to mourn. But yes, guys, I hope this reading has inspired you to grab this book. It is available on Gecko Publishing, GEKO Publishing.co.za. Yeah, Red Soil is distributing it through Gecko Publishing, and you can also get it from Chloe Langa, and that is the cover. Thank you, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow at 5. Happy Thursday.